Dear Minister, Your Excellencies, dear guests, I'm delighted to welcome you to the 8th edition of GOVSATCOM. It is impressive to witness yet another great turnout with over 2,000 participants registered and traveling from all across the world for this one-day event. The exponential growth in participation highlights the importance of such a conference and the urgent need for global cooperation as security and geopolitical challenges keep growing.
The consequences of the Russian war of aggression, the global tensions, and the challenges, they are very real. Europe and Luxembourg have to step up in all military domains. We need to strengthen the European pillar in NATO. For Luxembourg, this means that we will have to invest more than ever in our defense. We need capabilities that will reinforce our common deterrence and defense posture. Space assets help us to locate, to track, to observe, to coordinate, and to communicate.
The main trend, of course, right now is what's going on in the world. I mean, as far as Europe is concerned, you are at war, and you're trying to manage commercial infrastructure in space that's being actively attacked every day. There are a ton of technology trends, and I think the conference is really going to focus on innovation. But to me, it's really the threats to space and how do you operate in an environment that's no longer free access, freedom of use. And so I think those are the key trends that I'm certainly going to focus on talking about today. And I think as a conference, we're going to focus on how do we solve them, how do we address them.
I think some of the trends that we're seeing is, number one, transparency. I don't think space has ever been more transparent as it is now. And I think commercial companies, for example, coming into the fold have really changed that. So space is much more transparent, it's much more open. We're seeing more and more actors being able to enter the domain as well. And I think that's made space also much more open. Obviously, there's also a lot of risks that come with that. Bigger constellations, mega constellations. There's a lot more risks than there were 20 years ago. But at the same time, I think open communication and transparency can also make a really positive impact.
Indeed, one of the most profound shifts in defense technology today is the growing role of commercial space actors. Governments no longer control the pace of innovation. It is industry that is leading the way. The global space economy is now valued at over $400 billion, with commercial investment fueling advancements that outpace traditional government-led programs. These developments are not only benefiting commercial enterprises, they are reshaping NATO's approach to security and military operations.
The biggest trend in the industry right now is disruption and change. We're seeing it with a lot of new players coming in, the proliferation of LEOs, and then the response from the more traditional operators as well. But it all comes back to the same thing that we've been talking about for decades, of that pace approach, of having multiple applications, multiple orbits, multiple frequencies to make sure you have that primary, alternative, contingency and emergency communications that allows government users and defense users to have the secure, reliable, resilient communications.